Amanda and I are going to be discussing our 5 favorite Marvel superheroes. We'll come back with our favorite villains later, but right now it's superheroes, and it has to be Marvel, and it has to be MCU. It has to be Cinematic Universe. Does that change your...
This. You didn't tell me it would has to be MCU. Also, that changes one of my picks.
Oh, you got to think then, girl. I can't just pick 5 out of the entire comic book universe. I can't do it. It's too hard.
One I really love that's not...
Okay, I'll let you get away with it. That can be a bonus. Just one. That's fine. I'm Tessa with mamasgeeky.com.
Okay.
I forgive you. I allow you to do it.
All right. Are we ready?
All right. You go first.
And should we start with like 5 and work our way to 1?
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
5 to 1. Do it.
Number 5, I have Iron Man.
I have Iron Man for my number 5 too.
For number 5?
Yeah, for number 5.
Remember how our top 20, like, well, the 20 movies ranking went, we were so close? If our list was even so close.
That's funny. And I struggled with him, but I put him at 5.
I did too. Well, I struggled with number 5 because there were so many I wanted to add to the list. I really had to narrow it down, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to add him and him. So I had like, for my number 5, I had a bunch of people, and I was like, all right, I have to pick one. And Iron Man, he's just so integral to everything in the MCU.
That's exactly it. He's so important. I kind of love how cocky he is too. Like, I kind of love that.
Me too. Me too. Although I would never like date him or anything, but still when he like makes his little snide comments or whatever, I'm still like, oh, you tell it, Iron Man. I'm like, oh, you. He even bashed bloggers, and I'm okay with him. Right? I wasn't mad. I wasn't. I was like, that. He's just a jerk like that, and that's his way.
I know.
Right? That makes him that way. I don't know. It makes
I know
who he is. So that's
I know. If you guys, so people don't know what we're talking about in Spider-Man Homecoming, real quick, he says behind this door there's journalists, real ones, not bloggers. I was like, really, Tony? You're gonna do that? Whatever. But that sounds like a Tony Stark thing to say. I mean, it was kind of perfect.
It was. And didn't you ask Kevin, I always say his last name, Feige or Fate. How do you say his last name, Kevin?
I think it's Feige. But I don't even know.
But wasn't you asked him about that comment?
I did. I asked him at Thor Ragnarok, and he was like, listen, Robert Downey Jr. was like spewing out all these lines, and that one just made it in as his line that we used. And then he said when he was watching like the final cut, like before we see it, he was kind of like, oh, yeah, I might hear about this. Because he works so closely with bloggers.
Or Robert Downey Jr. Which one? Who said that?
No, Kevin. Kevin didn't even notice it really till, and then he was kind of like, ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, that might not be good.
So even it took him like, I don't know.
He said, hearing it all together, he was kind of like, oh,
Oh, well, at least he saw it. Like, he recognized it, too. Like, oh, no, it's not really true, right? We depend a lot on bloggers. They're real for, the movies and how integral they are. So at least he, like, noticed that for that comment to be like, oh, that's not good. But
I know.
And it is a thing Tony Stark would say. So that was
I agree.
5.
That was my number 5, too, so.
Well, if you didn't pick any from the MCU, we won't have the same number 4.
I got all MCU ones.
I know, I said, but this is my one that I didn't pick from the MCU.
Oh, right. I got you. All right. Who did you pick?
Can you guess what it is?
There's so many.
I know. But I love him, Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool. Yeah, okay.
I love Deadpool. I do. I just love the comedy, right? I love his comedic side. And that's probably like at least 3, like Iron Man. I mean, even his snarky comedic type snarky reply, comments. Mm-hmm. And so at least I would say like Deadpool, Iron Man. Another one on my list is because I love just the comedy that
I know
put into, characters too. So that was like a big one for me, Deadpool.
I get that. Oh, I get it. I think if it wasn't for the second one, And if we included in the other movies, then I would have gone with Deadpool. But I don't know. I put Thor.
You know, Thor was gonna see. It was hard. Thor. That was like my number. I was like, should it be Thor? Should it be Iron Man? Like Thor was on my list too. That I had to narrow it down. So what is
you know where? You know what got me for Thor? First of all, I love Ragnarok, but what really got me was that scene in Infinity War when he just comes to Wakanda. I was like, okay, that's Thor. I love Thor.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I had to. I love the change he went through in Ragnarok, like, and in Infinity War. But like, he's so I don't know. He's not the Thor from Dark World. He's much better.
Yeah, and he's like one of the sexier superheroes, right? Don't you?
He is. No, I do. I put a few others before him, but I do. I see it.
One of the
with his short hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't like the long. No. When he went short, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
He was doing something to me. I had a lot of feelings when he went short, but I look. He was one of the contenders.
Yeah.
And that's how my number 3 came about, because one of the sexier ones.
Black Panther. Got Black Panther.
Just everything about him is not. Don't you think everything about him sexy? Just even his costume, the Black Panther. Like a Black Panther is sexy.
Yeah, I do. However, you got to admit, at the Infinity War premiere, he was, wasn't there a thing that said he went from Wakanda Forever to Wakanda whatever? He was a little off that night.
But I'm not thinking actors, because the actor to me is like, like he does. He seems just off all the time, just like he don't want to be there, like he's, right? The actor. Yeah. But as Black Panther, that's what I'm just thinking. Strictly like,
yeah,
strictly in character, Black Panther's sex.
Where's my spray?
Where's my spray? I need to spray.
Spray you.
I'm getting overheated. All right, who's your number 3? I gotta get my mind off. Of this. Whew.
My number 3 is Baby Groot.
Really? Oh.
Yes. And it's actually Groot as a whole, but because like adult Groot like sacrifices himself for the Guardians, and then Baby Groot is like super adorable and fun, and I kind of adore him. And then teenager Groot is like super sassy and still sacrifices part of himself, and I just love him. It's just Groot. I just love Groot.
Like, can't we just say Groot of all stages of life?
Yeah, just Groot. Just every Groot.
Groot. Everything from baby, which is your favorite. Like, always the baby's the best stage, right? Babies are all cute, right? So, but all stages of Groot is, it has a special place in your top 5.
He does. He's number 3, right in the middle of my top 5. I love him.
All right, number 2. I bet you would never guess my number
2. Well, if it's Bucky, I would never guess it.
No, it's not.
Let me guess.
Oh, okay, you're gonna guess.
Oh boy. Oh, male or female?
It's a female. Has to be a female. Like, I had to represent with some girls.
Do you know what's kind of crazy is my number 2 is the only female on my list.
Mine too. I wonder if it's the same. I'm just gonna tell you.
Okay.
Scarlet Witch.
Oh no, that I almost put her on the list, but no. She's awesome. She's awesome.
Like, I wanted a female in my top 5, number 1. I mean, I love all the females, but I just think out of all the females in the MCU, which we haven't really seen anything from Captain Marvel yet, right? I mean, she might become one, like, take Scarlet Witch, but Scarlet Witch is just the most, like, powerful. Don't you think? All the girls,
I do. She's insanely powerful.
She's most
badass.
So badass. So I was like, if I'm gonna pick a girl, that is my girl. Like, out of all the women in the MCU, she is my girl. Like, she is the most powerful, just most badass. I love her. If I was gonna be a superhero girl, I would probably pick her. Like, I want to be her.
I bet you can pick mine. I bet you can pick if you think.
Really? It's gonna be Gamora. Like, is it Gamora?
Yes.
Are you picking all of the Guardians?
And I said Thor and Iron Man. I adore. You know why? You know, I had Nebula, and I was like, well, she's not really a superhero, but I love Nebula. But like Gamora, it's again, it's like what we see in Infinity War, right? Like her whole thing where she's like, she knows where the Soul Stone is, and she's like, I don't even care. Like, I'm gonna, like, she sacrifices herself. She doesn't want Star-Lord to know because he could get, she's like, then you'll know. Like, I don't want anyone to know. And then she gives up stuff for her sister. And, you know, I just, plus I have her tattooed on me. So.
If your number one is even another Guardian, Tessa, this is a biased list. Well, I guess it's not because it's actually your top 5 favorite. Your top 5 favorite. So
it's mine.
No Guardians is your favorite.
So wouldn't it be weird if it wasn't Guardians?
He was one I was thinking, like, remember I told you, like, my number 5, number 4 and 5 were hard. I had, like, lists to go between, like, number 4 and 5, and she was, like, one of those I was thinking about for one of those. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I love Gamora, too. I love her.
Yeah, she's badass. Like, and she's funny, and I really adore her. And I love Zoe, so.
Don't play around.
I know. She's crazy. She's awesome.
Fine. You probably know my number 1 too, though. Is your Star-Lord?
Yes. You know me too well. Is yours Spider-Man?
Yes.
I knew it.
I love Spider-Man.
I know.
Number 1 favorite of all time ever.
Spidey. It was Spidey and Iron Man. I was really deciding for number 5. That was hard for me. He would be a 6 for sure. For me, he would be 6.
I was really like because I mean Sony had the Spider-Man stuff, right? And I was really kind of, you know, I was like, oh, I was sad for a while because I'm like, oh, he'll never be in the MCU. He'll never be. And then when he showed up in the MCU, like, that was like huge for me too, because Spider-Man, out of all, like, I know we hardly talk about DC, but DC, like any comic book character you can think of, like Spider-Man has always just been my number 1. Always. Yeah. And I love him. I mean, I love his silly comedic side. I love him. He's pretty powerful. Like, he can do his flying and then just Spider-Man's awesome.
He is. There was a comic I was reading recently. I don't remember which one it was, but at one point he's battling and he's like, hey, why aren't you guys talking so much as much as I am or whatever? Because that's just how he is. He's like, he literally talks his entire time of fighting. Like, and he's so awesome. I love Spidey too. I do.
Well, that kind of is like me. I don't stop talking. I'm just like, so
yeah, me too.
Maybe that's why I relate to Spider-Man. And he, I think, so of the superheroes too, he has the humanity factor really, like, worked out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Thor's a god and some of the other ones, but Spider-Man's just such like an everyday type.
And he's like a little boy.
I know.
He's so young.
Spider-Man will always be my number 1. Always.
Yeah. Well, right, Star-Lord's mine. Yeah. No surprise there. I kind of adore him. I mean, in the movies, he's amazing. He reminds me very much of a Tony Stark, right? He's like a super cocky, womanizing.
Yeah.
Not someone I should like, but I do.
Yeah.
But in the movies, you know, Gamora has kind of turned him around a little. But in the comics, too, he's so awesome. So it's just Star-Lord as a whole has always been one of my favorites. And I think Chris Pratt plays him, like, super well. Like, he's, like, perfect. Like, when I first heard Chris Pratt was going to be Star-Lord, I was like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. It's not going to be good. And it was so good. Like, he blew my mind as Star-Lord. Like, he's so perfect for him.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
well,
love it.
I didn't really read the comics to know, but, like, I fell in love with him too in the movies. Like, I was just like, you can't see any other actor in that role now after seeing.
No, I know. It's crazy. He's so good.
What I like about Star-Lord is too, he's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to bring the DC type up, but he's kind of like a little bit of like the Batman of Marvel, because he doesn't have like powers, you know, like he has gadgets and you know.
Right. He has gadgets, and it was like his parents messed up, like his past with his parents is what has made him like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think he reminds me a lot of Batman, but kind of cooler, like the cooler, always getting in trouble, you know, like
space pirate.
He's like one of the, well, I mean, I guess Iron Man's like that too. He don't have superpowers, but he has his suit, you know. So, but Thor don't even have that. He's going out there all up in the open, just with his little gadgets, and it's like, come at me, bro. Right? Yeah.
He is. He does. I know. Which I will tell you though, that's why I always felt like I feel like Star-Lord and Iron Man are so similar, and they're two of my favorites. Like, but they are like super similar, aren't they?
They are. I think they are. I think Star-Lord is a little more like of a heart, you know. I don't you? I think he has a little more of a heart than like Iron Man, not as brash.
Well, yeah.
You know?
I don't think Iron Man has a heart at all.
You know?
I don't think he does. Ever. I don't care what they say. He does not.
I can see it. But no, like out of those, I'm surprised I didn't have Star-Lord on there, but I've never been like the hugest Guardians fan. You know that? Like, I know. I like Guardians, but I haven't even watched probably the second one all the way through because I fell asleep. I love number 1. I love number 1. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I think our lists are pretty good. I think it's crazy how kind of similar they are. Like,
kind of similar.
I mean,
and how we can pick each other's, like we already know. Like you picked already at least 2 of mine just straight on, right? Like the Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Well, I knew if you didn't have Black Panther and Spider-Man, you'd be lying. So.
And then we had both Iron Man for number 5, and then our number 2s were both girls. We just kind of went in different directions with it.
I know, and I for sure could have done Scarlet Witch. I love her. She's so crazy powerful. If I was doing comic books, it would for sure be Scarlet Witch would maybe even be my number 1.
Yeah.
She's crazy. There's this series, House of M. Like, have you heard of it? Scarlet.
Oh, okay. Really? She would be your number 1 maybe from just the comics.
Okay. There's this series that's one of my favorites. I'm going to go totally off track here just real quick. It's called House of M. I really, really think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it. You should. I'll send you affiliate links if you're going to buy anything. But listen, it's so good. The premises of it is she gets pissed off because something happens. She gets really mad, and she literally just whispers, "No more mutants." And do you know what happens? Like a bunch of mutants die, and then no more mutants are born for like years.
See, she's like, that's what I said. If you pick a girl, the most badass, she is the most badass.
It's all about her, and it's so good. It's so good. I'll have to find you. I bet you it's pretty cheap.
No, because I totally want to read it. House of M, like the letter M.
Yeah. Yep.
Send me your affiliate link because I'll totally get it.
Yeah, I'll post it in the description here too.
Oh yeah. Oh, if y'all check the description, you can probably pin it in the comments. Pin it to like.
Top. That's good. You're smart.
Or like, you talking about in the description when we edit. Oh yeah, you could do it there too.
Yeah, do it everywhere.
Yeah, I think we're done though. That was quick.
That was quick. Subscribe.
Oh, look at us on track. Subscribe, Mama's Geeky and Peanut Butter Jelly Time.
Yeah, and comment. Let us know your 5 top favorites.